Mantras of our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, whatever one wants sincerely and persistently from the divine is sure to give. With always our love and blessings, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo's Savitri, Book 7, the Book of Yoga, Canto 1, The Joy of Union, the Ordeal of the Foreknowledge of Death and the Heart's Grief and Pain, page 465. Fate followed her foreseen immutable road. Man's hopes and longings build the journeying wheels that bear the body of his destiny and lead his blind will towards an unknown goal. His fate within him shapes his acts and rules. Its face and form already are born in him. Its parentage is in his secret soul. Here, matter seems to mould the body's life, and the soul follows where its nature drives. Nature and fate compel his free will's choice, but greater spirits this balance can reverse and make the soul the artist of its fate. This is the mystic truth our ignorance hides. Doom is a passage for our inborn force. Our ordeal is the hidden spirit's choice. Anarchy is our being's own decree. All was fulfilled the heart of Savitri, flower sweet and adamant, passionate and calm, had chosen and on her strength's unbending road, forced to its issue the long cosmic curve. Once more she sat behind loud hastening hoofs, a speed of armored squadrons and a voice far heard of chariots bore her from her home. A couchant earth, wakened in its dumb muse, looked up at her from a vast indolence. Hills wallowing in a bright haze, large lands that lolled at ease beneath the summer heavens, region on region spacious in the sun, cities like chrysolites in the wide blaze, and yellow rivers spacing line manned, led to the shower marches emerald line, a happy front to iron vastnesses and austere peaks and titan solitudes. Words of our Divine Mother, taken from the collective works of our Divine Mother, book Question and Answers of 1929-31, date 28th April 1929. Question, sweet mother, it has been said that in order to progress in integral yoga, one must offer up everything to the divine, even every little thing that one has or does in life. What is the precise meaning of that? For that, a Divine Mother says, yoga, integral yoga means union with the divine, and the union is effected through offering. It is founded on the offering of yourself to the divine. In the beginning, you start by making this offering in a general way as the once for all. You say, I am the servant of the divine. My life is given absolutely to the divine. All my efforts are for the realization of the divine life. But that is only the first step, for this is not sufficient. Our Divine Mother says, when the resolution has been taken, when you have decided that the whole of your life shall be given to the divine, you have still at every moment to remember it and carry it out in all the details of your existence. You must feel at every step that you belong to the divine. You must have the constant experience that in whatever you think or do, it is always the divine consciousness that is acting through you. You have no longer anything that you can call your own. You feel everything as coming from the divine, and you have to offer it back to its source. Our Divine Mother says, when you realize that, then even the smallest thing to which you do not usually pay much attention or care ceases to be trivial and insignificant. It becomes full of meaning and it opens to a vast horizon beyond. That is what you have to do to carry out your general offering in detailed offerings. Our Divine Mother says, live constantly in the presence of the divine. Live in the feeling that it is this presence which moves you and is doing everything you do. Offer all your moments to it, not only every mental action, every thought and feeling, but even the most ordinary and external actions, such as eating. When you eat, you must feel that it is the divine who is eating through you. When you can thus gather all your moments into the one life, then you have in you unity instead of division. No longer is one part of your nature given to the divine, while the rest remains in its ordinary ways, engrossed in ordinary things. Your entire life is taken up, and integral transformation is gradually realized in you. Our Divine Mother says, in the integral yoga, the integral life down even to the smallest detail has to be transformed to be divinized. There is nothing here that is insignificant, nothing that is indifferent. You cannot say, when I'm meditating or reading philosophy or listening to these conversations, I'll be in this condition of an opening towards the divine light and call for it, but when I go out to walk or to see friends, I cannot allow myself to forget all about it. To persist in this attitude means that you will remain untransformed and never have the true union. Always you will be divided. You will have at best only the glimpses of this greater life. Our Divine Mother says, for although certain experiences and realizations may come to you in meditation or in your inner consciousness, your body and your outer life will remain unchanged. An inner illumination that does not take any note of the body and the outer life is of no great use, for it leaves the world as it is. This is what has continuously happened till now. Even those who had a very great and powerful realization withdrew from the world to live undisturbed in inner quiet and peace. The world was left to its ways, misery and stupidity. Death and ignorance continued unaffected. They reign on this material plane of existence. For those who thus withdrew, it may be pleasant to escape from this turmoil, to run away from the difficulty and to find for themselves a happy condition elsewhere. But they leave the world and life uncorrected, untransformed, and their own outer consciousness too, they leave unchanged, and their bodies are as unregenerate as ever. Coming back to the physical world, they are likely to be worse there than even ordinary people, for they have lost the mastery over material things, and their dealing with physical life is likely to be slovenly and helpless in its moments and at the mercy of every passing force. Our Divine Mother says, an ideal of this kind may be good for those who want it, but it is not for our integral yoga. For we want the divine conquest of this world, the conquest of all its moments, and the realization of the divine here. But if we want the divine to reign here, we must give all we have and are to here to the divine. It will not do to think that anything is unimportant or that the external life and its necessities are no part of the divine life. If we do, we shall remain where we have always been, and there will be no conquest to the external world. Nothing abiding there will have been done. Question, sweet mother, do people who have advanced very far come back to this plane? For this, our Divine Mother says yes. If there's a will in them to change this plane, then the more advanced they are, the surer they are to come back. And as for those who have the will of running away, even they, when they go over to the other side, may find that the flight was not much of use for after all. Question, sweet mother, do you remember that they have passed over and are back again? For this, our Divine Mother says, when you reach a certain state of consciousness, you remember. It is not so difficult to touch the state partially for a short time. In deep meditation, in a dream or a vision, one may have the feeling or the impression that he has lived this life before, had this realization, know these truths, but this is not full realization. To come to that, one must have attained to a permanent consciousness within us, which is everlasting and holds together all our existence in the past, present, or future time. Question, sweet mother. When we are concentrated in mental movements or intellectual pursuits, do we sometimes forget, or why do we sometimes forget or lose touch with the divine? Our Divine Mother says you lose it because your consciousness is still divided. The divine has not yet settled in your mind. You are not wholly consecrated to the divine life. Otherwise, you could concentrate to any extent upon such things, and still you would have the sense of being helped and supported by the divine. In all pursuits, intellectual or active, your one motto should be remember and offer. Let whatever you do be done as an offering to the divine, and this too will be an excellent discipline for you. It will prevent you from doing anything anymore foolish or useless things. Question, sweet mother. Often in the beginning of this action, this can be done, but as one gets engrossed in the work, one forgets. How is one to remember? For this, our Divine Mother says the condition to be aimed at, the real achievement of integral yoga, the final perfection and attainment, for which all else is only a preparation, is a consciousness in which it is impossible to do anything without the divine. For then, if you are without the divine, the very source of your action disappears. Knowledge, power, all are gone, but as long as you feel that the powers you see are your own, you will not miss the divine support. Our Divine Mother says, in the beginning of the integral yoga, you're apt to forget the divine very often. But by constant aspiration, you increase your remembrance and you diminish the forgetfulness. But this should not be done as a severe discipline or a duty. It must be a moment of love and joy. Then, very soon, a stage will come when, if you do not feel the presence of the divine at every moment, whatever you are doing, you will feel at once lonely and sad and miserable. Whenever you find that you can do something without feeling the presence of the divine and yet be perfectly comfortable, you must understand that you are not consecrated in that part of your being. That is the way of the ordinary humanity, which does not feel any need of the divine. But for a seeker of the divine life, it is very different. When you have entirely realized unity with the divine, then if the divine were only for a second to withdraw from you, you will simply drop dead, for the divine is now the life of your life, your whole existence, your single and complete support. If the divine is not there, nothing is left. Prayers and Meditations, July 23rd, 1913. O Lord, inconceivable splendor, may thy beauty spread through all the earth. May thy love be kindled in every heart, and thy peace reign over all. A deep and solemn chant, smiling and subtle, rises from my heart, and I do not know whether this chant goes from me to thee, or comes from thee to me, or whether thou and I and the entire universe are this marvelous chant of which I have just become conscious. Surely there is no longer any thou or I, or any separate universe, only an immense harmony is there, sublime and infinite, which is all things, and of which all things will one day grow aware. It is the harmony of boundless love, love victorious over all suffering and all obscurity. By this law of love, thy law, I want to live more and more integrally. To it unreservedly I give myself, and all my being exults in an inexpressible peace.
La plus étroite, la plus suffocante, j'ai touché un ressort tout puissant qui m'a projeté d'un seul coup dans une immensité sans forme et sans limite, où vibrent les sens d'un monde nouveau. At the very bottom of the unconscious, most hard and rigid and narrow and stifling, I struck upon an almighty spring that cast me up forthwith into formless, limitless, vast, vibrating with the seeds of a new world.